sweater. I hear the bell ring, the sunshine crawling over the set of swings, and I saw you in the sunlight.
Hi, welcome to episode 55 of the My Two Tips podcast. My name is Elise. I am the host, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. I have a few things to talk about today. I did record a podcast last weekend or something, and it just wasn't, I wasn't happy with it. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to try and take my time today, be a little bit more relaxed, I guess. I felt super rushed last time. So it's a cooler day today. If anybody who watches has been watching or hearing updates in regards to the weather out here in BC, it is ridiculously smoky from all the wildfires we've been having. So it's technically like a 30-degree day, but probably feels like, I don't know, mid-ish 20s, maybe even lower 20s, which is great because you're not sweating profusely, just kind of like sitting there and doing nothing. But there is such a heavy layer of smoke that it's really nasty out. So there's the weather update. If you want to find me on Ravelry, I am E.Garnier there. If you want to find me on Instagram, I'm E_Garnier. We have a Ravelry group for the podcast, which is the My Two Tips podcast group. And if you have any questions that you want to direct outside of Ravelry or outside of Instagram, feel free to email me at mytwotips@gmail.com. So the first thing I think I'm going to talk about is whips, because I have 3 pretty big ones that I'm working on. The first one, well, it's out of this big black blob, which is Cascade Yarns Roslyn, which is like an 80, can never remember the blend on this, but it's wool and silk, and there's a whole bunch of little flecks, which I like to refer to as tweed flecks, although I think it's actually the silk flecks in this one, of white and like a very light blue. And I'm using this to knit the Morning Mist top, which has come along fairly well. It's actually quite slow for some reason now that I'm in the body, so I don't really know if it's my needles with the yarn or what, but something about it, like getting through a row, which is only, I think I have maybe 240 stitches or something, like that's not that many. It takes a while, so I don't know what's going on with it. But the last time I think I had been working possibly on the lace panel, which you can kind of see it there. So this is knit with a provisional cast on in the center, and then you knit your lace in one direction, finish that and bind off, pick up your provisional cast on and knit the other direction, finish, bind off. And then in order to attach like it to the sweater that you're going to create, you pick up some stitches for the shoulders and knit them into a desired length for the front, and then when you're ready to attach it in the round at the back, you just pick up stitches along the whole edge. I had gotten probably a solid 2 inches down into just plain stockinette in the body and realized that I had originally attached this lace panel with the reverse side on the outside of the sweater. So I did a little bit of sweater surgery. Because when I picked up for the shoulder seams along the lace, you start with a new piece of yarn. I unpicked those seams technically, which is a little interesting. I guess maybe I hadn't actually connected in the round yet. Yeah, I think I was just about to attach to go into the round for the body actually. So I had only attached the shoulders. But anyway, I unpicked the shoulders, flipped the lace panel around, and had to I kind of Kitchener grafted it, I guess, seamed it in a weird way. It works. I don't think anybody can tell, which is possibly a sign that I actually did it well, or it's a sign that black yarn hides all mistakes. Woo-hoo. But yeah, so this is coming along. I'm hoping to have it done for Knit City potentially, because I think this will just be really easy to wear with like jeans and a t-shirt underneath. So we'll see. We'll see. It's coming. It's the Mount Pleasant top by Claire somebody. Can't think of it right now. But there you can kind of see how flecky it is. So that's fun. And I think I'm only on my second of 3 balls of yarn that I have for that project. So depending on how much yarn I use for the body, I might consider doing a longer sleeve on that one, but clearly a ways from getting there. I guess my second project is out of this wonderful yarn. So this is Alison Barnes yarn, Alison Barnes collection out of Calgary. She's in Alberta, because I tend to forget where people are actually from. This is her Whisper color on her simple sock base, which I believe is an 80-20 superwash merino and nylon. Love this colorway. I'm obsessed with Alison's yarns. And this is what I've been working on. So this is a very scrunched up shawl, but I'll show you the actual right side, I guess. This is the Boho Blush by Andrea Mowry, and I'm almost done. So I am in the final 1 color brioche section. I think I have 4 more rows to do. And then there's another garter section. Then I get to bind this sucker off. It is, I believe, well over 500 stitches. I think a brioche row is taking me close to 25 minutes to do if I actually stay focused on it and like don't check my phone during a row or anything like that. It's going well. I have a little nugget of my second ball on the go still, so I might be able to get 1 more full row out of that, maybe. We'll see. And I don't know, it's finally coming along, I guess. I had a lot of trouble when I first started the shawl. Something was happening that my stitch counts were getting off all the time. And I'm a pretty diligent knitter, I'm gonna say, because I'm one of the ones that like makes little hash marks for, oh, here's a right side row. I've done a wrong side row. Tick, 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 tick. Like I guess I'm a row counter above just like, oh, sure, let's think I did it 17 times. Like, no. I will mark it down on a piece of paper and triple check that crap. So, I don't know if it was just she's got you doing the, oh, whatchamacallit is it? Like the extra yarn over in your, like, edge stitches as you go, and you drop it on the following row, which is fine. I've done that before, but there's something about it that is just, I think that might have been throwing me off in the beginning. I'm not sure. I still feel like the edge is tight. I don't feel like it's overly flexible. Now, whatever. It's coming to completion. So I have 1 and like 1/8 of a section left to go. And I'll just be starting into my 3rd ball. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do the fringe or not. I think I will probably wash block and try to wear it without, because I think I really want a pair of socks out of this yarn. Could I buy more? Yes. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I could very well end up with more of this. So yeah, that's the boho blush. It's coming along. My 3rd project that I've been working on, I don't even remember what it looked like the last time I showed you, if I even showed it very recently, but forever ago I purchased a cone of yarn from Wet Coast Wools out of, well, this is the Holstgarn Super Soft, and it's in the Tundra colorway, and I think this thing possibly had like 500 grams worth of yarn on it or something crazy. It's finally looking smaller than it did. Like, it doesn't look like a massive cone of yarn anymore. It's still, like, I mean, there's still a lot on here, don't get me wrong. But the reason why it's finally gotten smaller, oh goodness gracious, I have put a crap ton of work into my Still Light tunic. And I know you're not going to be able to really see a whole lot of detail because it's a dark green color, but yeah, the body is done. The pockets are done. I can even pull them out, show you. Pockets are done. They've been seamed together at the bottom. I still have to seam them to like the body of the sweater, because when I do try it on, the pockets are tending to twist up and kind of annoy me. So I'll have to rectify that. But I think it'll be an easy enough fix once it's blocked and everything just has like a better place. What can I tell you about this project? It's a very well knit pattern. I would say, like, it's not hard to follow. The layout of the physical pattern kind of drives me nuts a little bit, but I've also done heavy modifications in a sense that I'm knitting. I started off with knitting, I believe, the extra large size, but then I stopped, I don't know, a few repeats before in the raglan because they were long enough and I had plenty of stitches. And then I pretty much followed the directions for like this front kangaroo-ish looking pocket thing. Except when I started, my stitch count was different, so I had to kind of play with where those increases started. But other than that, like, it is good. I think I'm going to wear it. I'm a little nervous that I made it a little long, which I think is ridiculous. I believe I knit the body to maybe a full 9 inches after I put the pocket stitches on hold, and then the inch of ribbing. So it's technically an inch shorter than it should be. The bottom hem is flipping up like crazy because I haven't blocked it yet, which is kind of driving me nuts. I don't want to have to rip it out and knit it in a smaller needle size, but again, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be afraid of doing some weird like hem tuck something or other on it. Maybe. Would it look horrible if I folded under the ribbing and like seamed it down and then it kind of had like a tubular-ish look to the bottom? I don't know. In regards to the sleeves, I have started one sleeve. I've gotten, I don't know, only a little bit done on it, not much at all. Using my trusty 9-inch circulars for that, and I wound off by hand a decent ball from the cone because I will start the second sleeve and work them concurrently. I'm really hoping to have this sucker done for Knit City. It's a boring knit, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it is boring. There are so many stitches in a row when you get into like the meatiness of the body that it's just stockinette. The increases are very like, oh great, I did my increases. Now it's a mile more of stockinette before the next few. Just a little like brain melting. Great for watching Netflix, but also just like Holst is a very fine fingering yarn. I would almost consider it like more of a lace weight because it just, there's not a lot to it. I know it changes when it's blocked, but when you're actually knitting with it like straight out of the ball or out of the cone, feels like you make no progress forever. But that's the big one, and that is the Still Light Tunic / dress by Vera Valimaki. Why can I never say her name? Ugh, ever. Vera. That's just how I'm going to refer to her. Vera. Because that one I can get. I did finish my Irish Shrug, which is a pattern by Melody Hoffman. And I use Spud and Chloe Fine, which is a fingering weight yarn, and it's definitely an 80-20 wool blend. I do enjoy it. I wore it the other day to work. Not to actually work in, but I did wear it to work. And I might actually take out my bind off and do it slightly tighter. It just has a tendency to shift around a little bit. And I think if that final bind off row was tighter, it would just help give it a little bit more structure there, which is fine. But as you can see, when I take it off, like there's no real integrity to my border. I didn't knit it exactly as per pattern. I picked up way more stitches than called for in the pattern for the border because it was the only way I would be happy with it. And it's even. None of the lace work gets distorted and pulls funny because I literally picked up evenly the whole way around. And I didn't decrease to the same amount of stitches that were stated in the pattern. So my border technically is larger in the end, so it doesn't actually quite cinch the shrug in. But I didn't want the shrug to actually kind of cinch up the back when I wear it. And you can see in photos how it actually kind of hangs to my lower back, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to have like full coverage, not just kind of across the mid or upper back. So we'll see what happens with that. One little, you can't see on the sleeves, the way it's written in the pattern is your Kitchener stitch for the sleeves would end up giving you a seam on the outside, like on the visible side of the sleeve. So I did it the opposite way so that my seam is on the inside, not the outside. Yeah, it's a really great knit. I could see myself knitting this again. There's like a good view of the lace. You do get into quite a rhythm with it, and it kind of becomes something you can watch TV with and things, so yeah, I do recommend that one. And in regards to yarn, I haven't taken like a final gauge of it yet, but this is what I have left over. This is a full skein, I'm pretty sure. I think they're 60 grams, but still. So I have quite a bit left. I did not use nearly as close as much as I thought I would. So again, not sure if that's just like a large overage written into the pattern or if it's me. Could be, very well. But I'll probably use that for something else without a doubt. Black yarn is my jam right now. So the Rhyme Backup Cow, which I am hosting with my friend Caitlin over at the Wool Jewel podcast, it's still going strong. My group hasn't had a whole lot of activity, probably due to the fact that I haven't podcasted regularly. If you're knitting something, go ahead, post it in my group, go ahead, post it in Caitlin's group, whatever, it's all good. I think I'm technically knitting my morning mist for that because my original project I haven't really started. So the Tecumseh sweater was going to be my like official entry, but I'm so nervous about the gauge on that one that I just need to push it aside and wait. So yeah. And then I have a new cow to announce. So Bernadette over of the Coffee and Craft podcast, she and I have decided to start a new cow starting on September 1st, going till the end of October, as of right now. And what it is going to be, it's going to be a rustic yarn along. So essentially all you have to do is knit a project using non-superwash yarns. It can be any type of fiber as far as I am concerned, as long as it's non-superwash. So kind of exciting because, I mean, when September rolls around and things cool off, you might want to knit something with a more natural fiber, more rustic, a little bit warmer, but also lighter. And project-wise, anything goes. So if you want to knit a sweater, great. If you want to knit socks, also great. If you want to knit like a huge wrap scarf thing, great. Hats, fantastic. Anything goes as long as the yarn is au naturel. So I've technically got a few projects in mind. The first one I really want to cast on is using this yarn from Tuscan Knits, and it is her V-neck base, which is 100% non-superwash merino in a fingering weight. This is kind of her pig. Jeez, how long does it take to leave a parking garage? Anyway, this is kind of her pigwidgeon colorway, except it has a little bit more purple to it. So, yeah, just so you know. But there it is all caked up, and I have decided to swatch for the Grace cardigan by Jane Richmond, which I have knit once already, probably 5 years ago, and doesn't fit me the way I intended. It was definitely when I swatched and decided and like cast on, it was at that moment my first sweater. But then I did a test knit for Jane, so it ended up being my second sweater, but I didn't like switch anything. So the fit, I chose the wrong size on my first one. I went by like bra size versus actual measurement size. So it's definitely a few sizes too small. I can still technically wear it, it just doesn't fit the way I want to. I also chose a very fine, like light fingering yarn, which had I known more about gauge at that point, I probably would have knit a different pattern with it, or done the whole gauge, swatch, magic calculations, and gotten the intended fit that I wanted. So I'm excited to redo it. I'm excited to have it in a non-superwash yarn too. I think there will be something kind of extra cozy about it. What I have to watch for with this yarn is it has quite a bit of like, I guess memory is going to be the best way that I can kind of describe it, because I did knit a shawl out of this yarn, and when I blocked it, I stretched the crap out of it, but now like over time as it's relaxed since that blocking, it's definitely kind of sprung back. So I want to make sure that like that doesn't happen with my finished sweater, and the sleeves end up being up to here and the body ends up being super short. That's not what I want. So I'm super excited. I think it'll be a nice opportunity to kind of compare between like a first sweater and now like a new, more experienced knit sweater. Pretty excited for that. I don't know if I have buttons for my stash in it already. There's a few possibilities, so we'll see what happens. That's a ways down the road. What else did I want to talk about today? I don't really know. There's so many freaking patterns coming out these days, and like that have come over the last, let's say, 5 years when I've really seriously been knitting, that I want to knit. I have like, oh, I want to knit this, I want to knit that, but holy crap, there's not enough time. I put on a little like question thingy on Instagram yesterday, looking for people's like favorite cardigan patterns and what makes it special. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a ton of people have suggested I think it's the Georgetown cardigan by, is that one Hannah Fettig, I think. I don't think I will ever knit that one. The collar on that one I'm pretty sure is like a doubled over huge crazy one, which I find when a collar gets like really deep and folded over, there's so much weight on the back of my neck that I don't enjoy wearing them. Beautiful cardigan, not for me. There were some other really good suggestions, but again, I don't know what I want in a cardigan. Well, I do know what I want, but I don't know what I want all at the same time. So I need to knit this Grace, because I do want one that's an actual like staple in my closet. I could probably do, I think I'd go as far as maybe a worsted, or like slightly heavier than worsted, maybe bulky territory, in a rustic lofty yarn, because again, like I find the weight sometimes of like a worsted sweater gets just heavy. Of course yarn dependent, fiber dependent, of course, but I don't want a sweater to feel heavy when I wear it, because then it also means the fabric is likely going to stretch out over time, and I don't want that look. So I've got some things to consider. I've definitely started looking a little closer at the Farmhouse cardigan by Amy Christoffers. I'm not sure how she does the O in there. There's options out there for sure. I would probably knit another Old Romance in a heartbeat if I could decide what yarn I want to use for it. I'd like a solid color, I believe, or tonal. But again, I have a ton of stash. I want to start using it a little bit more. There's a ton of sweater projects in my stash, actually, that, like, if I could actually just, like, get those pumped out a little bit more, it would be great. We'll see what happens. In regards to stash videos, I haven't made any yet. I do want to do them. I need to figure out how to present those videos. I don't just want to be like, look, here's this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, because that gets a little annoying. But I do want to be able to show you this, and this, and probably talk about maybe my reason behind buying it. If there was like a specific project in mind when I kind of started considering purchasing the yarn, or if it was a pure impulse buy. Maybe that's a good way to kind of break it up. Like, here's my haul video, stash with future projects attached to it. One section. Stash with potential, like, I bought a sweater quantity of this because this yarn is gorgeous and I know it'll make a beautiful sweater at some point down the road. Or the third section could be, oh my god, it's pretty neat to have it. Maybe something like that. Because as much as I try to stop doing the oh my god, it's pretty kind of purchases, sometimes they still happen. It just is what it is. So I guess, you know, I'll work on it. I will work on it for sure. I think in regards to doing my, like, Ontario trip haul for my visit in June, that one's going to be a little bit easier to format because it's like, oh my god, I went to this yarn store. Here's the great stuff I went with intention to buy. Here's the stuff that randomly came home with me. Not horrible. But I'll work on those, and, like, I don't know if I'll make them like a huge announcement anywhere that they've gone up. I'll probably just throw them up when I get to them. I might also do them slightly more in a, like, looking through the stash kind of video or something, and being like, oh, I was just looking through the stash today and here's this yarn I found that I'm thinking is really nice for this pattern or that pattern. Something like that, maybe? I don't know. If you have any opinions on the matter, let me know. And of course, no stash talk can be talked about without talking and mentioning Knit City is coming up. So excited. So Knit City is happening in about, I don't know, 4 weeks? Maybe? Maybe it's 5. Let's go with 5. Because that gives me more time to finish my sweaters. But anyway, you know I'm going to go there. You know I'm going to bring some goodies home. And I will definitely do a big Knit City recap episode for sure. I am super pumped for this year. I cannot wait to hang out with everybody. Knit City is probably one of my most favorite weekends of the year. I look forward to it the day after it ends, always. There's just so much love and like pure enthusiasm that is felt over that entire weekend. It just is so inspiring. I have a few things that I want to purchase already, which pretty exciting. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. But I am super excited because there are new vendors coming this year. There's, of course, the big, like, returning vendors, which are always exciting. But it's just going to be interesting because it's growing more and more and more. I think I've heard that they are going to have more, like, sitting area, loungy thing set up within the Peony Forum, which will be really good because I think that is something that'll go over really well. Like, you can actually sit a little bit more comfortably than on, like, picnic table style situation. And I, again, am being a Knit City dropout in the sense that I am not doing any classes, I am not going to any lectures, I'm not going to the pom-pom quarterly pub quiz night thing that they're hosting. Nope, not doing any of it. I'm literally going to the marketplace and I'm going to hang out with friends that I haven't seen in a year and just have the time of my life. So that is what Knit City weekend is for me. It's in about 5 weeks-ish. If you're coming, I hope you're excited too. I hope to run into you there. Don't be afraid to come up and be like, hey, it's you. And I'll be like, hey, it's you. Chances are, if we actually communicate via the podcast or Instagram, I probably will recognize you. The name might not come to mind right away, but it'll be fine. It'll be all good. And that's probably it. Continue to spam those stupid Instagram accounts that are fake and reposting everybody's pictures because it is getting way, 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 way annoying. Hate that. I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about today. Again, I feel like I've gone through things kind of quickly. Okay, so I'm going to cut myself off here because I feel super, like, rambly, which is fine. But I will see you soon. We'll use that term loosely. And yeah, again, find me on Instagram as E_Garnier, Ravelry as E Garnier. Our Rav group is the My Two Tips podcast group, and see you next time. Bye guys.